Digital board games have a lot of advantages. The material often has an established player base, robust rules, and well-developed game pieces and art styles. Despite these advantages, bringing a board game to the digital realm has its share of design challenges. In this DD 2018 session, Temple Gates Games is during the presence design tricks for digitizing games like Race for the Galaxy. It was an insightful talk that's definitely still worth watching, so developers should not miss the opportunity to do so now that it's freely available on the official GD YouTube channel. In addition to this presentation, THEGDC Vault and its accompanying YouTube channel offers numerous other free videos, audio recordings, and slides from many of the recent game developers conference events, and the service offers even more members-only content for DD Vault subscribers. Those who purchased all access passes to recent events, like DD Vault, already have full access to DD Vault, and interested parties can apply for the individual subscription via the DD Vault subscription page. Group subscriptions are also available. Game-related schools and development studios who sign up for DD Vault Studio subscriptions can receive access for their entire office or company by contacting staff via the THEGDC Vault Group subscription page. Finally, current subscribers with access issues can contact DD Vault technical support. Gamasutra and DD are sibling organizations under parent company Informa. Conan Exiles developer Funcom has purchased a 51% majority stake in Portugal's work for Hero Studio Zona. Paradoxal specs for an undisclosed fee. Funcom and Specs have been working together since 2017, with the duo having combined on Conan Exiles, Mutant Year Zero, On to Eden, and other projects. From a strategic point of view, Funcom claims the deal will help lower development costs, while giving it access to a growing talent pool in Portugal and Spain. Speaks quality and client-focused attitude, and history of providing varied services and executing projects in different time zones. Is also a good match for Funcom's growing list of projects in development, allowing them to support both internal and published projects with ease. Reads a press release. Although Funcom will be Speak's main customer following the deal, the studio will continue to act independently and collaborate with other developers. Chris Graft, at Chris Graft, is editor-in-chief. Gamasutra. Hey, it's another on your top games list. I approach these things like a mixtape that's meant to highlight games that are excellent, but also that give some kind of insight into my own tastes, with the hope that other people might find something they do enjoy. I will be honest, I do not look forward to doing this, because they do not come easy. I could tell you right away which games I enjoyed this year, but for me to cogently explain why, that saps the last ounces of brain power I have left. After an entire year of following the game industry, every year in performing this thought exercise, I look back at the list I make, and every year without fail, a theme or two subconsciously arises. This year I gravitated toward two kinds of games. Thank you, dear readers, for reading and writing on Gamasutra. Here are the games that brought hope and joy during what felt like a very long year. List is in alphabetical order. When Celeste first came out this year, I played it for maybe a half hour, and then stopped. I just was not in the mood for yet another hard-as-hell platformer. It was not until I picked it back up at the end of the year, when I completely fell in love with it, and appreciated what it was doing. Yes, the game is difficult, but the way the story addresses that difficulty and emboldens the player to keep climbing, is absolutely brilliant. Celeste shows us that we can be our own worst enemy, but that enemy is still an innate part of who we are, and having a friend to help you realize that along the way never hurts. Mechanically, it's a simple concept for a player to understand. Jump, dash, and grab. The game masterfully introduces players to the traversal mechanics, then sprinkles in level design elements where players have to use those basic skills in ways. It all just feels perfect. Something about Forza Horizon 4 took me back to when I would get excited about racing games, even though it's obviously more advanced than the arcade racers that I obsessed over back in the 90s. Forza Horizon 4 was able to capture the sheer joy I experienced back then. It was not just the weekly change of seasons that were introduced this year or the new online features, and the fact that the graphics are good enough to make you weep. The game's main job is a driving feel that's the best this side of the original Sega Rally. At least how I remember that game feeling. A feel that I can only describe as fast and buttery. Forza Horizon 4 is the culmination of years of fine-tuning. In that regard, this is a racing game made by people who understand what makes a realistic racing simulator gratifying, and what makes an arcade racer just fun. In equal measure, Frostpunk is what happens when you take the human condition, turn it into metrics and variables, and plug those into a system meant to test your own personal values. Many games' narratives tell the player about tough decisions and insurmountable odds. Frostpunk instead places the weight of this narrative devices on the shoulders of the player, providing a sense of gravitas and purpose. Unlike any game I have played, it all feels in a literal sense meaningful. The mechanical approach to this kind of storytelling makes Frostpunk that much more interesting. Theorists think the idea that softer mechanics are a better fit for narrative-focused games, while harder mechanics in system-heavy games like FOS DPU and KA less equipped to tell a story with as great of impact. Frostpunk masterfully disproves that notion, and shows a less traveled path that game designers should closely examine. Into the Breach is difficult, and wants to end you, but the game systems are so readable and transparent. You typically know how the next turn or two are going to shake out. That puts a certain amount of accountability on the player. You have nearly all the information you need. It's just up to you to properly decipher the situation at hand, and limit the extra risk that upcoming variables might present. If I want to get philosophical about it, I guess I do. I found Into the Breach to be about preservation of self, for the benefit of others. This is a game more about defense than offense, about keeping yourself alive, so you can keep others alive. It's incredibly well done. Jurassic World Evolution captured my attention much more effectively than Frontier Development's earlier console-centric park simulator, Zootaiku. One reason is that caring for the herd of Triceratops is, for me personally, more rewarding than cleaning up elephant poop. Another reason that Jurassic World Evolution is on this list is because of the satisfaction I got when I was able to get all the game's layered, intersecting systems to play nice. When the brachiosauruses are peacefully grazing in their pens with the perfect amount of water and trees. Yes, the forest-water ratio matters. When the ornithomimids have enough peers to where they are socializing, and when the velociraptors are not running rampant eating visitors, it's a state of pure balance that's supremely satisfying. That said, when a T-Rex gets loose and gulps down a park visitor, that has not gotten old yet either. I first played the demo for Lucas Point's Return of the Obra Dinn a few years ago. Even in its smaller, bite-sized demo farm, I immediately fell in love with Macintosh Police-inspired graphics, and its concept of a mystery adventure aboard a derelict ship. The final version of the game impressively scaled up that small demo, in which you investigated just a few deaths, turning it into a full-blown whodunit with dozens of victims. It's a twisted, web narrative where the individuality of the Obra Dinn's crew are fatefully and beautifully intertwined. I can only imagine the sprawling flow arts and post-it notice that literal Lucas Pope's workspace. When playing Return of the Obra Dinn, you can feel the gentle hand of the designer dropping clues like breadcrumbs across the landscape of the narrative, each vignette of gruesome death, turning the player into a voyeur of the past. Return of the Obra Dinn is unforgettable in the run-out punch of Tetris effect.